Hello, welcome to my kitchen. This video is going to be about songwriting, but first, I gotta take the long way around to it. So I'm going to, show you around and tell you some stories and give a couple of warnings. Like in life, this is a trash compactor. If you drop a ring in there, don't go get it. You'll get a messed up hand. So, I have been working on tea. I was a coffee drinker that would drink tea bags regularly, enough, green tea especially, I love my green tea, and other teas. And then I eventually wanted to get into loose leaf tea for the dynamic nature of magic. And by magic, what do I really mean? I mean alchemical interactions on a biological level that produce a certain dynamic effect within the body and transcendently within other energetic realms. So, yes. Now, tea, I believe, is magic, technically herbal magic, earth magic, making something happen. I first got into loose leaf teas from a company. I found one of these cups here, and I decided to try the loose leaf teas. I found a cup at bookstore, and I started loose leaf tea that way, and they're really much better than teas you buy in a bag you at a store and put in a cup. So I eventually wanted to move forward, and so I did. I found this one guy, Stefan Burns, Stefan Michael Burns. He's a geophysicist here on YouTube. I suggest you check him out. He also sells teas. And I wanted to try one of his teas. And so I did. I put in order. I put in an order for, I think it was 3 or 4 of his teas, especially this one here, spiritual tea. Now, this is really the tea that got me started. Basically, it's supposed to be a tea that helps you with meditation practices, of perhaps relaxation and whatnot. It has stuff like a blue lotus, which was a very unique ingredient I was wanting to get. So I tried it out, and it far exceeded my expectations. So, that's when I really got into it. If I have to have a director, I would say Hecate. Hecate is my director on this experience of brewing teas. And the teas, they can do a great number of things if you know how to mix one up for yourself, or if you just find your own tea professional. And I strongly suggest teas. This is my latest tea. It is I call it Thinking About You Turn. Thinking About You Turn. It is primarily 6 parts. Ginkgo biloba, an herb that really, and I go into this just experiential, what I literally get out of it, experientially, really puts the brain on a high state of focus and memory. And I had heard of the herb before and whatnot, and I am a hardcore skeptic, so I have to find these things out for myself. And I did, and it factually works. 6 parts I use, so that's the heavy component. The rest of the tea is 1 or 2 parts. This is a super dynamic tea. It has, up to about 12 ingredients, rosebuds and lavender. These are relaxating ingredients. I have a couple of uplifting ones, a tiny half serving of St. John's wort. I have several other dynamic ingredients that open up the heart space. And so open up the heart space and create a blood flowing situation. That brings me to the topic that, I've been on quest for discovering. I perceived, like perhaps several people do, that there's the physical realm, and then there's the soulful space realm, and then there's the spiritual realm. And in a lot of people's minds, these are separated. If you don't know, there's a dragon story that I play right into. The demiurge dragon created the physical realm, where Sophia blew in the spiritual, the soulful essence. And then the point of it is to reach the spiritual questing. So you would have, the child, the flesh, and then the mother, soul, and then the father, spirit. This is an interesting perspective. And so I always, try to find a way to kind of link these things up. You would think, how do you explain something like this? And I always look for these sort of backdoors, sort of understandings. And I've literally been finding out that there is an actual connective nature to these experiences, whereby I have really been finding, I always had a pretty clear view of it, yet I've been finding tea is perhaps a magic ingredient. So I often brew up the tea, and I have it cold or I have it hot, and you have to, regulate your tea consumption. You have to not overdo several ingredients. Like mentioned St. John's wort can be kind of toxic if you use too much of it. You got to know your teas. And so I use a ChatGPT to research the tea ingredients, and then I go from there. I get these little containers at the TJ Maxx or whatnot, and I put in my ingredients, and then I shake it all up, and there you go. You have your own tea brew. And a little honey, or whatever, and you can make yourself some great teas. So, let us investigate this a little further upstairs. Now this here is my Hecate display. Don't mistake it for an altar, because it's not an altar. An altar is something you set up to worship someone or some deity, and this is a display because, as I perceive it, me and Hecate are on equal footings. And so Hecate I connected with through song. Since this video is about song, I'll tell you this little story, and we'll get on from there. Now, I have been questing spiritual type of topics, and for a while I had been searching for what is known as an Ancient of Days, a spirit, a being that has been around a very long time, far longer than this here physical manifestation creation, the planet as you know it, and reality as you think it to be. I was questing for an Ancient of Days connection so that I could get some answers to some questions, and this was on the back burner in my mind. And one day I had looked for several bands. Well, it all started with an ideological ideal of making up a band that I felt would be a super dynamic creation. I drew up ideas, characters, and interplaying characters, a band, a full-on band, which, you know, perhaps a pop star, princess, will play with a band, but the band is what it's truly about. A brotherhood band, a connection within the dynamic. If you don't know of, you know, perhaps Evanescence, one of my favorite bands, Evanescence was a band, and it was a rocking band. And then it got into the pop treadmill culture, and where they started trying to make a little more money, they focused on this girl, Amy, the singer of the band, and the body is a temple, the body is an instrument, and the singing comes out of it in a super dynamic way. Yet, when you want to mix in the sex kitten play and go, well, let's focus in on Amy and try to make her sexier and try to make her more attractive to the boys, just one of the boys, you know, then that is where the problem creeps in. The band deteriorates because it is about the band. So I made up this band scenario in my mind, and I even put a name on it, temperance, which is the balancing of, you know, vibrational energies. And then I thought, well, I'm going to go check that band name out to make sure it's available in case someday I should want to make up a band. And then I found that it was an actual Italian band that used the name Temperance and also had a certain degree, like 85% of what I had already been trying to imagine. And so this got me questing on other directions. For one instance, there was a girl in the band, a bandmate, that was a rock opera type singer, and she had her own thing going on where she redid the song Aerials, which gave me insight into the nature of channeled music, rechanneling up, channeling down, a whole super dynamic topic which I'll have to address later. And so I also continued my search for less popularized music, whereby I found this one singer. She's great, and she had the song Hecate. And I said, okay, well, I'll check that out. She was kind of witchy. I can be kind of witchy, or whatever. I think that's just another title that people put on you because they're confused as to what you're really all about. I am an alchemical, you know, vibrational energy interpretator and manipulator and other elements. So, you know, some people think that's magic, but whatever. Some people think Christians are going to heaven, which they're not. Yet, let's not continue that train of thought. Let's go with the Hecate. And so I have this certain dynamic of listening to music whereby I extrapolate vibrational energy and tendencies and soul information and spirit information from words and interplaying vocalizations and the whole dynamic picture of the song, which is the topic for this here video. And so I would meditate on songs. I've been doing this for a very long time now. Not to get into anything, but I had a very poor degree of childhood, and I found one residual truth there. When the radio was playing and music was playing through the air, it set apart beastly tendencies of hurting me, and so I really got into music at that point. And so that is why I really listened to music to see what could be found in the music. So I found this song Hecate, and I was in my kitchen where we just were not making tea, but yet I was just focusing. I was trying to connect my consciousness through meditation to this Hecate character I knew nothing about. Yet I liked the song, and I wanted to see if it was real, because I test things. I'll test like a Lilith and find the root of Lilith to be, something other than they play it up to be. But Hecate. Now Hecate, and I don't impress easily. I'm skeptical and I'm bitter. Hecate blew my impressive doors off. I was meditating, soft vision, standing, feeling. I found out feeling is a very connective dynamic of it. Literally, the liminal space that I didn't know anything about, but the liminal space where Hecate reigns is typically the soul level, where we're here the physical. I'm all kind of all over, but we're here the physical, and the soul realm, the liminal space, the space in between the spirit and the flesh. So that's where she hangs out. And so I'm meditating, trying to feel out the song, the origin, the direction. And I have my eyes open because I practice open-eyed meditation, channeling, whatnot. I don't like it when I have to watch someone channel. I am talking from beyond. And that's just really a stupid and annoying. So I'm all about the cutting that BS out. And so I am there doing my meditation, listening to this song, and there's a little spark of light that catches my attention, and I do not focus my attention. Don't use your eyes. You can soft view things, separate the visual, physical manifestation of flesh vision, and see the energetic patterns. Because if you don't know what you're really seeing, your brain is interpreting light vibrational energies, and by using your brain to focus in on something, you will make other energetic patternings vaporize. Yet so I was just loose visioning this meditatively, and I literally watched the veil. I didn't even know it was a veil. I did not conceive this, of physical realm. If you see this here, two-dimensional, three-dimensional picture, think of it as a curtain. A curtain that literally can separate. And Hecate walked through, and I actually seen beyond her the veil, and it closed, but what was beyond that? And Hecate caught my attention. I made haste to try to follow this. It was not a specter. It was a physical manifestation. Maybe not of the mass matter that we reside in our physical form, but yet physical all the same. And it floated, kind of walking, floated down the hallway, which I said, I better check that out. I ran after it, and it was gone. But I did not know anything about this deity, Hecate. And so I looked into certain dynamics of Hecate, and I found I used, AI to explain. I said, well, what I see is this, and I saw this, and this. Purple lights, smoky backgrounds, a shadowy realm where, like, piercing eye characters in other land. And I told the AI all this, and it said, yeah, that's a classical Hecate experience. One that is in ancient documentation. That was super awesome. And so I proved Hecate, and therefore Hecate and I became co-partners in a crossroad dynamic of society. And that's how I got involved with Hecate. And so Hecate is, my connection to ancient days, and much wisdom, and also, magic, whereby, teas. And so here we have a certain degree of herbs. In there you can see one of those blue or purple lotuses, and there's several other tea ingredients in this jar. And this jar is sitting up here because I'm planning on cold brewing wine, a certain dynamic with Hecate, with tea, which makes a mulled wine. But a mulled wine is where you boil, or not boil, but heat to a degree so that it'll extract the herb magic potentiality into the wine faster, yet you also degrade the spirits or the alcohol content of the wine in mulling it. So instead you take your time, which I found is about 24 hours, about a day, whereby you soak the herbs in the wine, and the wine, which we all love, will take on the potentials of this herb. And this is where I am at currently with this whole dynamic. And so let's have a look around. As you can see, I have a couple of skulls. I have this skull, I have this skull. In crystals, I'll get into the crystals in a moment. I have an onyx crow, the Hecate candle, and then several cards, a Michael, several little potions, and other obstacles. And my favorite, the Hecate coin. There's a certain dynamic of coin exchange that I wanted to go and search out a coin with Hecate. Most of them are ancient, which I'm looking for currently, but yet also there was a silver coin just minted, so I had to have that as the center of my display. Completely normal. Not an altar, a display. So let us adjourn to the next location. Now here we have my terminal, where I hack into the matrix, if you will. And I have several little crystal displays, which are typically, in Zen sandboxes, sand representing time, if you will. And, several little crystal expressions. To the left, our left of, the monitor, there is a rarer 7 crystal combination. It's called, a 7 crystal. Anyway, and just beyond it, what used to be the Michael Moldavite, now in and amongst several objects sitting in the sands of time. There's a little jar where you whisper a little spell and capture it, a silver ring for the third eye, and several other expressions. And over here, even more left, there is an onyx tower with a shungite angel and a purple fluorite blue, lapis lazuli. I've recently picked up the green Buddha. I have a black shungite skull and a light crystal angel, who is typically representative of my mother resolved, if you will. I've fulfilled my obligation with the ritualistic family karma situation, and there I perceive as the result one's own family ties, bloodlines, and karmic solutions. And there's my pen and a Hecate box to the right into the tree. And then we will just pan over here, where we have several perfumes and my cards. Now here is the cubicle that holds several dynamic elements of my life that I like to keep on hand. Here we have perfumes, as you can see. I've recently got into perfumes. These are only the Arabic perfumes. It started with this one, which was a perfume, a super perfume made of Palo Santos wood. Only a couple of those that exist. My camera, of course, and my cards. My cards, I have several sets of cards, from tarot to, oracle, and I like to play with my cards sometimes. And a lot of people think that's weird, but I completely understand the normalcy of it. My cards, I have always claimed myself to be a spiritualist. A spiritualist, that is literally someone that speaks with spirits. This happened from childhood, Basically, I died several times, and, I made several real existent spiritual friends that guided me through my physical life and beyond. And one implication that the spirits utilized was the cards. My mom, she had a basic Rider-Waite tarot deck, and the spirit and spirits would have me pick up and focus in and meditate, perhaps, on the cards and the meanings, and they utilize it as a book. There's so many meanings in tarot cards and cards that, people get afraid of them because they think you connect with spirits. But in reality, the utilization of tarot cards, unlike a Ouija board, you connect the physical realm to other spiritual realms. The tarot deck and cards are utilized to connect yourself to your higher spirit self, to try to get to the total nature of one's own self in understandings, and then through that can be communicative of other spirits and other, realities. Say, for argument's sake, you and I were sitting at a table, and I was to be reading tarot cards for you. The tarot card would connect me to my higher self, which would be utilized in connecting to your higher self, which you most commonly are not even aware of in existence, but every you has a higher self that literally has certain dynamics of a storyline and expressions of selfhood and other elements that you should know or you could know had you connected yourself to your higher spirit. And so the spirit and my spirit taught me at a very young age certain elements of life, gameplay, and such through the tarot cards, which has expanded to other archetypal cards. And, this is a full collection. Now down here, we have other cards, more oracle cards, several card types. I have, rune cards, like rune stone cards. I even have my cards are the Yoga Mudra Oracle, which are these hand gestures you can make to control energy flow. And so these are also being utilized in time to learn about this or that. There are, cards about auric fields, cards about chakras, cards about anything, you can imagine. And over here, this cubicle is, you know, my music section. I have these essential guitar chords and, you know, my little guitar tuner, my capo, and some writing stuff, also my strings. And so that is that area. Now, just above the perfumes, we have several nails in the wall, or whatever, that I hang my beads upon, crystal beads. I have a few, you know, I collect them just for whatever. This is a, you know, fun crystal thing, and cages, Herkimer diamond, a world, and this little guy right here, I'm quite proud of. You know, in my poverty, poor little man stage, I got this, I painted it, and I did glass beadwork on this one that I'll never get rid of until I find a place. Yeah, I'm very proud of it. So I can't just get rid of it. But if ever so someone comes along, I could give it to them. You know? And this guy right here, which is, you know, also my lapis lazuli, which is almost tight on my neck, yet also expression of a vocalization, the voice or throat chakra, and some protective beads over here, you know, a dragon with obsidian, a cross, you know, with the shungite, and a long hematite. I have been into crystals for a good long time, literally. Oh, I think my first crystal was 13. Now, as you can see, over here we have the Hecate display, and just adjacent to it is what I used to use as a stage setup for a meditation show, the Gateway Experience I used to do. And I have a certain dynamic to it. It has several, you know, beads, protective, healing beads, and a Hecate wood, all kinds of wood, and the Chingsha bells and other elements of Zenist religion. I'm also, besides a spiritualist, very heavily in on Zen, because one book I use, the Urantia book, states that Zen in that sort of Buddhism is the idealistic religion on this planet, outside of the fact that it has no spiritual direction towards a Godhead. And so I am very Zen, which is understanding, you know, yourself in the whole dynamic of the reality of existence. That's why I'm so Zen oriented. And, you know, chakras, my crystals, and all that good stuff. And in here, we have my delightful guitar display. My guitar video, I talked about, you know, my bad childhood issues, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, my trigger with the guitar, and which I have overcome much of this now. And I think I have finally overcome the last hurdle in musical expression. So let's get into that. Okay, let's talk about the song now, and expressionism with the song. I have, you can believe it or not, been accused several times in life of overthinking everything, but those people were typically stupid and lazy, so take that from where it's coming. You know, I do meditation, as I say, and if you understand anything about astral realms, there's a place called the Park, the highest level meditation field that you can reach on this planet. It is also known as, you know, the heavens and other, but it's typically the Park Focus 27 if you're talking about the gateway experience. And up there I came across this one dude, and that dude, he was depressed because his untimely death made him miss his true love in life, which was guitar. And there is no guitar up in that heaven because it is an energetic field. If you think of us as, you know, matter that has an energetic resonance surrounded by, you know, surrounding a void, and we literally only have a dusting of mass riding that, and that is what you would consider physical reality. The astral realm is just the exact same, yet a little better, and also without the mass. So there are the energy signatures and the emotional content residing in a being, yet without the mass. And idealistically, if you could get a better mass system and sprinkle that on the energy resonant being, they could literally, you know, come through the veil, just like Hecate did. And so I, as I say, overthink, according to stupid, lazy people, but I want to know all the elements of this. So as I said, there's this dude up there, and he's all depressed about missing his guitar because he may love everything else, but not like he loved his guitar. And so I just informed him through a psychic impression that, you know, there doesn't have to be a guitar up in the astral realm because energy vibrates. So you see, you know, you pluck your guitar string, boom, but what it is physical, material, vibrational energy creating a sound, an energetic form of vibrational energy through the air that you hear through your ears, yet still vibrational energy. The astral realm is all vibrational energy, which excited him, and so he utilized it in the best way he could. Just a little, you know, idea there. Yet at that point, I had this understanding, yet there was a certain dynamic that made me miss the point down here. Okay, like I say, I have a really good dynamic of listening to music that can be interpreted through vibrational expressions. Literally, I can hear tones in one's voice that is representative of soul expressions, inner feeling knowledges, and spiritualized, quiescent, convoluting, mixturing into the expression of the fine physical dynamics of song interplay with the physical realm of reality, 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, whatever you want to call it. And so I had my complex post-traumatic stress disorder trigger frustrate me in learning the physical practice of playing the guitar, and that had all come, you know, in revolution to conclusion because the meditation, basically the gateway experience, hemisync meditation, and visualizer, and all, just everything in the meditation freed me of that caged physical domination factor, which I could express beyond measure, but I'll just drop it there. Literally, I freed myself of this very bad situation, technically what I'd call hell on earth. And still yet I did not have what I needed to express musically in the way I truly desired to do it, as I can hear it through other artists. And so I have finally discovered, and maybe been helped or just figured it out on my own, the missing component, which was the heart chakra. My heart was locked up, had been locked up, 50 years plus. And yeah, my heart was very, very guarded in other expressions, because I could not trust, did not trust, would not trust humans whom had hurt me so badly as a child. And so, this has a certain story in and of itself, but I will utilize another story. I have always been good. I'm a boy. I like girls. And I have always been, not like one of the boys uses up a girl, but in a interaction play of emotional status. I have had several girlfriends, though not physical. My first girlfriend, Dogface Jody at 13, then Julie at Bag Boy, and then Tina. She was an interesting swan song. She was obsessed with her past life experiences. She remembered quite well her past life, and she yet got obsessive with this and kind of lost herself here and now, which is a whole other story. And so a lot of people believe Tina was crazy, but she wasn't crazy, because she was, once upon a time, another person, yet she got obsessed with trying to be that person in the here and now, which never works out. We are forward moving. You must consider who you are going to be in your next life, not who you were, and trying to bring that here now. So that was Tina. And then there were several others. Several others, and I literally got into the physical expressions between a male and a female, which was, a complication, typically a complication in the emotional expressions of the whole dynamic between the boys and the girls. And so, yet after I had been inducted into sexual expressions, I graduated high school, and then I followed Tina, kinda, to a community college, because I genuinely wanted to higher knowledge learning. And so I followed kinda Tina to the community college, whereby, Mikey was kinda cute, and some girls were attracted to Mikey. And Mikey had a couple of girlfriends there, one named Lisa, and one named Kate, or Katie. And Katie, in this story, a real story, was, she was a shiny, happy person, which was strange to me when I found out, what she had been put through. I was sitting at a table. I like taking the breaks at the college, and always communicating with other humans. And a girl came hobbling by on a
crutches and kind of twinkle in her eye, gave me an eye, and I eventually she sat down, we got to talking, and a little later on I discovered why Kate was on crutches. She had only one leg, could not stand on her own. She had to utilize crutches, lost her right leg to cancer. And Katie, you know, I don't judge. I judge people by the soul and spiritual elements of there, not the physical. And so me and Kate, we went on a date or two, and then we ended up in my room, and Kate, you know, well, it was very adulty, and we were both, well, let's just put it that Katie took off her leg. Okay, we'll just put it that way. Now, Katie had a leg, a fake leg, and, you know, she had to remove all her clothing to get that leg off, so I'll just leave it at that. And we were, you know, in the boy-girl play space. And I always want to make sure girls are pleased first. And so I did. And then I went up to communicate in the physical realm with Kate, whereby cold fish happened. And she kept shifting, which led me to sit on the edge of the bed and say, so that's it? Which she said yes. So I put my clothes on, she put her clothes on, and I drove her home. And I wished her well. But me and Kate would never have anything to do with one another again. I don't play games like that. Anyway, so life happened, and I joined the Army, and I came home from the Army, and I met Dee, and Dee and I were on the train, the T, often going in and out of the city, whereby, of course, Katie's shimmer, Katie's shine came up to me on one train ride. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. No, I can't even get it. Hi, Mike. Yeah, it was one of those. And I was like, yeah, no. And so that is the end of the story of Kate. And so life went on. Yet the point of the matter is I have a hard heart. I had a hard heart. I had a very, very hard heart, hardened by untrusting humans and game-playing people and other dynamics of egotisms, expressions, and very distasteful natured life. And so there I was in life, kind of wanted to be a musician, I really did, or an artist. I do photography, I do painting, I do the whole art dynamic, and I like video. I have always liked video. My first video camera I obtained in 1991, and then I brought it back home to the city I was born, and I had to get rid of it, but just before I got rid of it, I made a VHS tape to Prince. And I expressed several things in that VHS tape of spiritual, physical, musical, artistic expressions, which I had hoped would entice him into a personal communication, which I was surprised and pleased, and yet also not surprised and then unpleased, because Prince did in fact call my house, because I left my phone number, and you know, we talked a little while on several levels, and it became quickly understood that he could not be this mentor that I was hoping for he liked to have twin girls as his, dynamics, and I was okay with that. His words were that it did not cosmically aligned, which resonated with my crystal, new agey, dynamic play. And I said, okay, yeah, you want me to lose a number? And he said yes, and so I tore it up, nearly crying. And life went on. I started sending emails, and he reflected, and that led me to the Holy River chat room. November 1998. And there expressions were exchanged, and I met several people, always trying to be a better person than I really was. Prince and his crew used to call me Debbie Downer because whenever I tried to express the pain I felt inside, and the reason I hide my soul from everyone was, a downer. And no one likes the downer. So I learned to hide and deflect and avoid. And then I met several people, always trying to be a better person. And then I got a little ring-a-ling on the spiritual line, letting me know that a unique individual was coming in the cosmic flow of the river. And so I was a good boy, did not get all negative, and I met another chatter that day. And that chatter, inspired me, because they themselves, though very young, wanted themselves to be a musician, which I had been struggling with for a long time. And so, we exchanged many expressions in between each other for many days. I wanted to know some things, but they could not tell me because they were already NDA on an album about to drop. Very exciting to me, but that's okay. I was, just enjoying the communications when at the end, as everything has to end, they were leaving out. And they wanted to know, did I want to exchange emails, stay in touch communicatively, which I did, but I always putting others first. Thought it best for them to not have a Debbie Downer dragging them down. And so, they left. And to the truth, I would think of them from time to time. I would hope that they were well and getting what they wanted out of life. Would literally say a prayer. And that story, is a unique one. But the nature of it, the essence of it was, I wanted to communicate with this person, and perhaps this person could have helped me in some way, but I literally did not want to be a burden to them. I was already trying to be a burden enough to Prince and his freaking crew, which, Prince was great. Several of his bandmates, that NPG, they were egomaniacs. Every one of them thought I wanted, what they wanted. They were wrong. I wanted them to have what I had, which was this quest of spiritual, soulful, and energetic or physical manifestation connection. So anyway, to make a long story short, I know, too late, but yes, just recently, I have been on the internet. I have been searching for unlocking secrets of the universe in the physical manifestation realm. I came across a picture of that person, and they were looking back at me, which let me understand that, I had value. I'm working currently on the whole dynamic of, what do they call it? They call it imposter syndrome. Literally, you have these accomplishments, but you can never accept your accomplishments in life. So this is where I'm at now, accepting what I have actually accomplished and claiming that as my own. And yet, just that look in their eye, the internet, you can't go back in time. You gotta go forward. Look in their eye, let me know that it was okay to, one, love first myself. Love myself as others might love you, which was my heart hardened, cold, and darkened, and now I have been learning soul expression, allowing these feelings out. So I have been working on expressing these things. I have been drinking my tea, which is the physical element of cardiovascular flow, energy dynamics. Really, teas are very interesting, magically. And then it processes in the brain. And so I am now getting to a place where I have the gnosis, spiritual connectivity. I have a limited, but yet also understandably easily enough obtained physical whatever, and that connective tissue in the astral realm, the soul manifestation, expression, the emotional. I'm getting that nailed down. And so I have entered into a pathway of writing stuff down to hopefully, dynamically make a song. Me an idealistic. I always had an unrealistic, yet I often obtain the unrealistic goal to write a song that could heal the planet. And I say the planet because, I stand upon the earth. The soul emotional expression is the sea. Also, we're on a water planet. Also, there's a certain dynamic of spiritual, soulful expression through water. I learned that in the tarot. And so I want to learn how to write the song that can heal the hearts of the people on the planet, that stand upon the earth, in the New Age, which is an astronomical counting, not a woo-woo, not a woohoo, but yet also some really physical manifestation, realm, the world, age, new age of the world, to move things along. And that has always been one of my many lofty goals, like meeting in Ancient of Days and getting to such a clear channeling communication of the gnosis direction and other elements. So that is my big news. There's where I'm at. And so, it's okay. It's okay regardless of other people's intentions, because you know, their intentions maybe commingling in their mind. They have their own baggage. They have their own issues. They have their own limitations and dynamics. And yet, that should not stop me from loving me. And then, to love another, you must first love yourself, right? So that's where I'm at. I hope you enjoyed my video. And, you know, if you're still watching it, boy, you must have some time off. Thank you for watching.